So I was able to make another corpse appear, which is... No, this was the guy... Was this the guy that was crushed by the first cannon? There was a lot of people that got crushed by cannons, so... Let's figure out which ones and when it happened. So I came down here from the top deck. There was... Okay, this door is now open, so that's kind of cool. We'll see what happened to this gentleman in a bit. But This was the guy that I first saw. He was crushed by the cannon. Then there was the other guy who was crushed by a more different cannon, which was right here.
Lord, my hands. Aim level. Ready.
All right. So it looks like the Kraken grabbed the cannon that this guy was attempting to shoot, which then caused these guys to get blown backwards by the force. And then this cannon was in the process of being lit. This guy got crushed by a cannon. This cannon was in the process of being lit. This guy got blasted. One of these guys got blasted by the cannon that had just been lit by the guy who died. And so that means that this guy was not crushed by the cannon when he died. I mean, he was. It looks like it. He was crushed by cannon by the Kraken. Ah. That's a little bit of a tougher call to make, but there it is. So... Oh, this was a different person than the guy that died in the next scene. I already figured out how this guy died. He was crushed by a loose cannon. This guy was... I guess he was crushed by a cannon as well? It's not a loose cannon, though. He was... What do you say? I guess he was crushed by a loose cannon? It's really tough to say. It's more that the beast killed him by crushing him with a cannon. I don't know what call to make on that one. We'll see if the game helps me figure it out later on. I did get a door open that I'm able to go through now, so I guess I'll do that real quick. It's at the back of the boat. And I guess that was over here? Yeah. This was the door that I had found moments prior. I'm going to assume that this guy was probably killed in some related boat or Kraken accident. And it looks like he probably cracked his head on that thing, so... So 2 Kraken accidents actually happened. I made the same joke twice, just like Keith. I'm a hypocrite, but it's funny. There aren't really words. There aren't words. I honestly thought that this guy was taking the worst dump of his life. And I thought to myself, surely this game would not have somebody crapping when they're not even on the poop deck. This is not where you're supposed to poop at all. This is the exact opposite of the place that you're supposed to poop. But I thought to myself, this game could not have gone that direction to make a poop joke. And I'm sort of glad that it didn't, but I'm also kind of disgusted in myself. Because what does that say about me as a person? That the sound of somebody getting crushed to death immediately evokes memories of like, well, this guy took a crap. So that should tell you that I apparently take some horrifying dumps. Which I guess is true. Who is this? How do they die? Well, their name is ES. So, what the fuck does that mean? ES? What? Okay, they met a fate of getting crushed by the beast. I guess the other guy was also crushed by the beast. That's the call that I'll have to make. And I can adjust it to be that way in the future. Alright, one more person. And that wraps up all of the parts of this scene, I guess. And then I have to figure out some murderers? Guess we'll do this. People in my chat are suggesting that he probably was actually taking a massive dump, and then he got squeezed to death whilst pooping. And I would agree with that, except for the fact that we know for a fact that that is not the poop deck. We established at the start of this series, I spent a solid like 20 minutes going over boat terms, and we know that if you poop by the, what the hell was the thing called again? If you poop by the bowsprit, your poop's gonna just wind up all over your stem. And nobody wants that to happen. So it's all about pooping off the poop deck, because then you don't get anything, like nothing's gonna land on your boat. So that guy, if he was pooping where he was, then he was breaking all the rules. Which meant that he was the real loose cannon. The poops is loose. Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Alright, one last dead guy. Let's see how he did.
Let me on.
Over my dead body, you bloody Dane.
Huh? How's that?
There's no cause for trouble, boys. Get in the boat.
Thought I'd forget. You killed my brother.
What? That was an accident. The ropes.
It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing.
Lies. I shouldn't have waited so long.
No, don't.
Well, this'll be a clue in another scene. I guess the one that takes place before this one. So these were the guys, they were trying to get on the cockboat. And this gentleman murdered the guy that died. And this guy accidentally killed this gentleman's brother with ropes. So that will all probably become very relevant as I learn more things. But I have no way of knowing the things. So I guess these guys went down in the cockboat right as Mr. Kraken showed up and started actually making things go real south real quick. Yeah, I don't really know anything else to say about this scene, except we'll at least be able to identify how somebody died. So this is part one of the Doom. These guys loaded themselves onto a... Oh. I now apparently have enough to identify how... I should be able to identify this guy as somebody who killed somebody else with ropes. But good luck if I'll be able to figure that out. He was clubbed by... somebody? He was clubbed by this person. And I guess he killed this guy's brother, but how the hell am I supposed to identify him? They can't be the same person because this guy's not wearing a shirt, and in the sketch, that gentleman is clearly wearing a shirt. That's not the attention to detail that I would expect to see in this game. Oh, ES. I'm very dumb for not being able to figure that out. Oh. Why is there somebody by the initials of ES? Anywhere? Edward Spratt. Ah, okay. Oh, and it's like a drawing. I misread this. I thought it said Edward Spratt, terrible artist. And I was like, that's fucking mean, game. That's horrible. Yeah, he's not that great though. Oh, no, he's excellent. He was doing all the doodles of like all the peoples and whatnot. Which leads me to believe that, well, never mind. Well, still, Edward Spratt was not a terrible artist. He was a passable one. Actually, the art in this game is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Who is this guy? He was... Alright, so I identified Maba. I identified Edward Spratt. I need to identify one more person, and I should be able to... I should be able to see if I got those three correct. And I have two options here. It's this guy who was crushed by the loose cannon, and I guess I should be able to figure that out. What about in this scene? The fuse blew up, and so who was here? I mean, this guy was referred to as Sir, so he must have been the, like, head gunnery guy. So I guess I should be able to figure out from here. Memories of this person can be navigated from here. Show memories in the deep deck, depicted in Justice at Sea. Bookmark memories. All memories will appear here for quicker navigation. Okay, so let me see if I can identify that guy. Nope, not him. Gunner, right? He has to be the gunner. There's no other way. So that's the gunner. Did I get 3? I did not get 3. But, I mean, he was present with all the cannon stuff. I think that the other guy called him Sir. So I assume that that means that he was, you know... maybe I need to leave the memory to get confirmation if I've confirmed the identities of 3 people or not. I don't know. Yeah, a whole lot of people fucking died here. Conclusion. Disappearance is continued. Who is this? That fat bellman. What? What fate befell them? 7 wayward souls disappeared during the events of this chapter. Their fates are cataloged here. Wow, I have a lot of people that I can identify. This was the guy whose brothers were murdered by the ropes on accident. But I can't really figure that out. Well, hang on. This guy was clubbed in the face. He killed somebody with ropes on accident. He was clubbed by a guy with a brother. And if I look, I don't, was Peters the, yeah, Nathan Peters and Samuel Peters. So one of those guys is one of the Peters brothers. I know that much. But, so this guy was killed by one of the Peterses. Aside from that, though, I don't know. Haven't really figured this out from here. I guess I should be able to figure out this guy. He was the guy that was crushed by the cannon. I walked into the deck, and he was the first guy that I saw. He was killed there. Get to the main bit quick. Sir, loose cannon. She's healing over. Find your footing. How in the hell will I be able to identify that guy? Fuse. Load, move the hands, aim level, ready, no, belay, spark. This guy wasn't crushed by a loose cannon. He was, I think he was crushed by the beast, I assume the game's gonna want me to say. And I don't quite think I have enough clues. Let me on. Over my dead body, you bloody Dane! There we are. How's that? There's no cause for trouble, boys. Get in the boat. Thought I'd forget you killed my brother. It was an accident. The ropes, it wasn't his fault. So, I guess I need to find the Danish man. Okay. Denmark. Lars Linde. That is the most Danish name you could ever come up with. Alright, Lars. I figured out how you did. He was clubbed by one of the Peters brothers. I thought that'd be enough. Lars Linde was clubbed by an unknown attacker. Edward Spratt was crushed by a terrible beast. And do I need to identify... I thought it said I just need to identify 3 at a time. And it would... I guess you could say his art was crap. That's a pretty hot take, man. That's pretty damn great. Okay. Let's see. So Lars Linde was clubbed by a unknown attacker. I guess it won't let me confirm their identities until I have gotten not only their names... Okay, yeah, name, death method, and who killed them when applicable. So I haven't quite figured out... I've only figured out 2 people. I need to... I guess, to really confirm this, I need to identify who was killed by the loose cannon. He was probably the gunner's mate. Nope. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Hang on. This was the guy that had the very... No. Is there a way for me to play the scene back so I can identify people's actions? Accents? That would be very helpful. Let's just play the scene again. Okay. I should have enough to identify this person? He was loose cannon. He referred to this guy as Sir, who I'm assuming was the gunner. He had to be. And then this was the gunner's mate, right? Like that's all I can come to. So Olus Wyatter was crushed by a loose cannon. Maba was torn apart by a beast. And Edward Spratt was a terrible artist crushed by a beast. Right? He was crushed. There's no other way to describe what happened to him. Right? He was... Well, he wasn't struck. He wasn't torn apart. Yeah, he was crushed by the beast. And Olus is the gunner's mate, because he referred to the other guy as Sir. The other guy definitely looked like a like an officer. What else could he be? Like second mate or third mate or something like that? Bosun's mate? I assume that the game will not let me just, like, guess my way to winning. He also didn't really have a Polish accent, so I don't think it's Olus. If I look at the crew, and I look at this guy, he's right there next to the person I've identified as Christian Wolf. But I don't know if it's actually true that that's Christian Wolf. He could just be the first mate, right? So I had Christian as the gunner. From he could be like the second mate. And then the other guy might be the gunner's mate or something like that. I don't know. You could guess your way to victory, but it'd be really hard. Yeah, I would imagine that it would also be very, very antithetical to the purpose of the game if you just sat there and tried out every single combination of shit until you won. Like, that sounds like an awful way to play. It's just another assorted gunner. That guy is an assorted gunner guy. Wait, what? Oh, right. What? So, somebody with a very thick Scottish accent was trying to tell him how to load the cannon. I'm trying to figure out when exactly the other guy got crushed by a cannon. So that's over. I walked down here. This was the guy that was crushed by the cannon, right? One of these two. Yeah, I think it was this guy. Sometimes the game is a little bit finicky about controlling. That guy was a gunner. That guy was there. I'm trying to find the guy that identified as Olus, but isn't exactly right, apparently. This is a bit of a conundrum. I don't have enough clues to figure this out. Curious why I'm immediately sure that that's Maba. Because Maba's from New Guinea, right? And this guy's covered in tattoos. So, it's gotta be him. Because I've read, what's the name of that one book? You know, the one with the whale. The white whale. Huh? Yeah, I read Moby Dick. And this guy is basically, what's his name? Queequeg? Is that the guy? Yeah, so it was like, that's Maba, because, Queequeg was covered in tattoos. And this guy has a name that's kind of like Queequeg. So, there you are. I can't read the word beast without immediately thinking of the word artist every single time. It was torn apart by a terrible artist. Gunner's mate was crushed by a loose cannon. And let me look at the glossary of more of these terms. Military officer in charge of weapons and military procedures on the ship. Let's go back to the Doom. Lars Linde is the Dane. He was killed by an unknown attacker, and the game won't let me know until... So I can't... It's one of the Peters brothers, so fuck it. Was it Samuel Peters? Nope. Was it Nathan Peters? That is so cheaty. Ah. I just metagamed the shit out of that one. Alrighty. I knew it was Maba. I immediately got it right. So I still wasn't able to figure out the person I was trying to figure out the whole time. But hey, cheat to win. Worked well enough for Lance Armstrong. Works well enough for Bird.